Hello, my name is Jill Bray-Bowen, CEO of Northwestern Medical Center, and your host of the NMC Health Beat Show, dedicated to discussing important healthcare topics of interest to our community. Today, guess who's back? I'm joined with Jonathan Newhard, who is the Sous chef on our restaurant and catering team. And today, we're going to be making some healthy trail mix with some nuts, some good fats. So this is going to be a great example of how we get some healthy fats in our diet. And guess who's back as well? Kate Laddison is here, who is the Sous chef?
The Sous chef,
Yeah.
that's right.
So together we're going to have some fun with some good healthy fats and nuts. So
Yes.
Welcome back.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yes.
It's great to be here.
Yes. We're excited about what you got going for us today.
So yeah, we've got our healthy fats, and you know what? The best way to eat them is just to have a handful. So
Right out of the can,
out of
like
the
we
can.
have at
Yeah.
home.
I
You-
love nuts.
Oh gosh! Oh, these are great. I haven't tried this kind before, so. Wow! Well, that was impressive.
Okay. Well, speaking of heart health,
I have another. I don't know if nuts is where I want to be at. All right.
Help us wake up in the
yes.
morning,
Well,
right?
thanks for the humor today. Yes.
Well, the thing is, it really is a surprise how good nuts are for
Oh,
us.
that's what that was for.
That was the best way I could think to illustrate it.
Oh, great.
There have been a lot of clinical trials starting in about 2013 and continuing to this day, and they just keep turning up more and more positive information about how good nuts really are for us. So
Fantastic.
we've talked a little bit in the past about seeds, like when we did our show on quinoa and how good they are. And a nut is just that. It's a seed for a baby tree, and it contains all the things that the baby tree needs to start life and germinate and sprout and grow. And all those nutrients and all those things you take into your body when you eat nuts. So they really are fantastic.
So when you have things like almond milk or flours or things that are based with the nuts, do you still have this? Is the superpowers? Is the benefit the same?
Somewhat, but not really as much. It's decreased enough that it's better to just go for the whole nut. The milling process, when they grind a nut down to turn it into a flour like almond flour or walnut flour, changes the chemical structure, and it takes away a lot of those great things that your body can absorb. It's even more so if you get some almond milk or a milk product made out of a nut. And the other thing is, when you buy a nut milk or a nut butter, you really got to turn the container around and read the label, because you're usually getting not just the nut, but you're getting added sweeteners and preservatives, and a lot of those things that we think of as being negative in all the other processed foods. I mean, they are processed foods, you know. An almond milk is just the same.
Wow,
So-
that's interesting. So really the best way to eat nuts is really just the nuts themselves.
It's just a handful.
Yeah.
Different nuts have different health benefits for you, so it's good to include a variety. Almonds, which we have right here, are great for lowering your low-density cholesterol, the bad cholesterol for you, and decreases risk of heart attack. Hazelnuts, which I didn't bring any with me today, have double the antioxidants of almonds, which almonds are already high
Really?
in antioxidants. And antioxidants,
Hazelnuts.
of course, have a lot of cancer-fighting and prevention properties to them. Walnuts and pecans are both proven in some of these trials that have been going on for the last almost 7 years now to help people lower their A1Cs and control their blood sugar. So
Excellent.
if somebody's looking for a nut as food as medicine kind of thing, it would certainly be worth looking into what nut specifically can help what they want to deal with.
Good point.
You know, if somebody wants nuts just to eat, then heck, mix them all up. They're great.
I know, it is so fun to mix them. So what are you going to be doing with us today to show us how simple it is to have fun with nuts?
Very simple.
Besides out of a exploding can, of course.
Well, we talked about how it's great just to eat them, and I always like to show people some way to be creative too. So what we're going to do today is we're going to make a really simple trail mix. So the first thing that I'd like to add in here is, when you buy nuts at the store, a lot of times you'll see toasted and salted. It's good to look for lightly salted or no salt. Buying raw nuts, just like every other less processed food, gives you control over the salt that you add. Buying raw nuts, however, if they're not toasted, Toasting nuts brings out a lot of those essential oils that create that nutty flavor that people like. So what we're gonna do today is we're gonna toast some of our own nuts.
Okay.
The cashews and the walnuts that I brought here are untoasted. So what I've got is just a pan. This pan is dry, and you could certainly do it with a dry pan at home. It would be great in the interest of being just a smidge faster. I'm gonna add a little bit of olive oil to the pan because oil is a great medium for heat. That's why people use it so much in cooking. Oil traps the heat, carries it over the top of the nuts and everything else. So we're just gonna let our oil heat up real quick, and this is gonna go very, very fast.
So if you did it without oil, you just would wait a little longer, John?
Yep. What we're gonna be looking for is the smell of the nuts coming out of the pan as we toast them. And you'll get the same result if you don't use oil. It'll just take maybe a minute, maybe 2 minutes longer.
Okay, good
So
to
we're
know.
gonna add our cashews in. And our walnuts, because we're just making a nutty trail mix going on today. I'm just gonna toss them together.
Oh goodness, now he's getting fancy.
And we're gonna let them,
Here, you try that.
No.
it's all in the wrist. It's not hard. So while these are toasting and getting warm, we can start working on some of the other ingredients for our trail mix. Trail mix, there's so many varieties. This is another one of those things. It's great to make your own so you can control what goes in. We're not gonna put salty snap crackers in. We're not gonna put tons of sugary stuff in there.
Yeah, agreed.
But we are gonna use our nuts. I've got some additional seeds and some dried fruit and even some chocolate.
Whoa,
So-
now we're talking.
Why don't we get our chocolate going first? So we have a chocolate bar here.
Okay.
Obviously, we don't want one big chocolate bar in our trail mix, so we're just gonna break it up into little pieces. And there's a really fun way to do that.
A little bit of chocolate sounds good to me.
It's a great way to start the day. I'm gonna open it up completely. If I can wrestle with the tin foil.
And you've got dark chocolate there, huh?
Yes, that is crucial. Chocolate, as long as it's very dark, at least 65% cacao, and what we have here that we're working with today is 85%, is very high in antioxidants. It's less processed, less sugar, less dairy added. It's a lot closer to just, it's oxidized a little bit over here. Still good if it looks like that, but
I'm
not quite
glad
as
you.
pretty.
I'm glad you came across that because I always wondered about that.
Yeah.
So we'll put that right in here. Seal it up nice and tight. And Jill, I'm gonna ask you today to just smash the chocolate with a hammer.
Do you think I have experience with these things?
I'm not sure, you know, I believe
Go
you,
ahead, hit
you
it
could have
hard.
done some hammer work in your past.
Oh my.
Oh, definitely, look at that swing.
Holy cow.
You're laughing? Go for it.
Fine.
Whack it. Yeah.
Great.
It's a good
So
stress
that is
reliever,
perfectly
too.
It is. Let's bring out some chocolate and smash it. Is that smashed well enough
That's
for your
smashed well
liking?
enough. We don't need to super duper pulverize it because we want to have some chunks.
But putting it in the bag kept it in the bag.
Yes, we didn't lose our chocolate all over the floor. We even kept our cutting board clean, our hammer clean. It's just easier all around.
Good point.
So we're gonna add this into our bowl.
So you're looking for dark chocolate that has specifically a high percentage of cacao?
Cacao, that's correct. Now the higher the percentage of cacao, the more bitter the chocolate will taste. So that's something to take into account. You still want it to taste delicious, right? I mean, you don't want to get to the level of I'm trying to be so healthy that I don't enjoy my food anymore. It should be fun, it should be good, it should be delicious. And that's the whole point of learning to cook this stuff on our own, is to learn that it can be healthy and it can be great at the same time. Okay, so we've got our chocolate,
Okay.
we've got our almonds, which are toasted already.
I love almonds. Those are my favorite.
Me too. I actually use almonds the way other people use potato chips. I keep a bag in the
Yeah.
cupboard, and when I sock out on the couch in front of the television at the end of the day, they're munching on almonds. So they're great. These are
Wise me.
pumpkin seeds.
That is a good point you just made, because I know kids they sit in front of the TV, they want to have it like a snack or something. It's so easy to grab a bag of chips or something. But if you have this available in your home and it's interesting and fun, then they'll take this as a snack, right?
Yep.
I mean, it's really
Learn those habits early.
Yeah, that's so true. It's so true.
So, and I've also got, these are sesame seeds.
Oh, yes.
Or sunflower seeds.
gonna
Oh,
say,
yeah, that's right. I'm just agreeing with you. Yeah, sunflower
Sesame
seeds. Yeah.
seeds.
Sunflower seeds. And these are dried blueberries. When I bought them, I did specifically find low sugar dried blueberries. Sugar, I'm sure you guys have probably mixed fruit with sugar before to make like a strawberry shortcake topping or something like that.
Right.
And you can see how the sugar pulls the juice out.
Right.
Yes.
So that's something factories do to help the drying process when they make, say, craisins or dried mangoes or anything, is add sugar because it speeds up the drying process. So they can produce their product more quickly, get it on the shelves, and make the profits, right? So it's worth taking the time to look for. I think this was 50% less sugar. I couldn't find completely sugar-free. But those are blueberries.
I don't think I've ever seen dried blueberries before.
I know. I can't say I have either. Do you buy them in the store or?
I found these right in Hannaford's. There's a section, there's an aisle in the middle that has a lot of bags of nuts.
Yeah.
Yes.
And right across the aisle from the nuts, down a little bit towards the cash registers, there's a big
Dried
section of
fruit.
dried fruits.
Oh, nice.
So there are cherries, blueberries, craisins, raisins, the whole nine.
Does it say on the outside of the bag about the sugar content, or do you need to look at the back and look at the sugars, and is there a number that we're targeting for sugars?
These actually said reduced sugar.
Okay.
And it was marketed that way, lower
great.
sugar blueberries. So we've got our nuts. Now, we're gonna add those in here. And very, very easily, just give everything a toss. Maybe we'll do it this way.
Oh, fancy again.
Say a little
I'm
prayer
watching
to
how many come out. Okay.
Yep.
the kitchen gods
You did
that
well.
You did, yeah.
our warm toasted nuts don't melt our chocolate, right?
I was
Oh,
just
right.
thinking
Good
about
point.
that, the melted chocolate, yes.
That is actually another benefit of using the dark chocolate is that dark chocolate doesn't melt as readily as chocolate that's had
Another
all the fat
good
added
reason.
of the
Oh,
milk and the sugar and the dairy.
Sure.
That's why when people get melting chocolate, they frequently buy milk chocolate for it. So that's it. It's just that simple. It is a little melty.
That's okay. Isn't that beautiful?
I just feel so bad for our viewers, because we got this beautiful thing we're going to be eating, and this is really good.
You'll have to try this at home to see how
Yeah,
wonderful
I
it is.
know.
There we
I mean,
have.
it was so very, very easy.
So you can get a little bowl out and serve it like such, or you could pack it into a
Oh,
sandwich
and
bag
smell
and
the nuts.
take it with you on the go.
Yeah.
Take it on a hike up a mountain, or just throw some in your pack for, throughout your day. Have it ready to go.
Bring it to work for a snack for that.
And I'm trying to think what other things you might put in there to, make changes
Oh,
with
you
it by
name it.
different types of dried fruit.
Yeah.
So
Banana chips or
Banana chips, yeah. Apple rings might be nice to
apple
cut
rings
up
would be
and
great.
throw
Right.
in.
or apricots. I love
right.
dried apricots. Should we try this?
All right, you go for it.
And I do have a towel here in case you get any melted chocolate on your fingers.
Let's see.
I'm gonna get right in the serving bowl.
It's delicious.
Oh, that little toasting just makes such a difference.
Brings the flavor out. And
Beautiful.
that's not something I would have thought
Blueberries
of.
are nice.
Did you add a spice in here? No?
I didn't.
No? Could you? What would you recommend?
Certainly. With something sweet, I wouldn't get too crazy. Maybe just a little bit of freshly, like if you have a salt grinder, some sea salt.
Okay,
finely
sea salt.
ground. I did bring a Middle Eastern spice with me today, which might be good, but only in small amount. This is kabsa spice, which you can find in a smaller container at the grocery store. It's a spice mix. It's saffron and cumin and a little bit of garlic. But really, if you were to use something like this back at this stage of the game when you were toasting the nuts with a little bit of oil, if you were to just sprinkle a little of the spice right on there. If you remember back when we made our curry cauliflower soup, when we were talking about cruciferous
yeah.
vegetables, we toasted the curry powder in a little oil before we
That's right.
added all the liquid.
Right.
And it
Could
would
do
be
the same thing here?
principle.
Okay.
Sort of
So-
brings
Put
out
it in the oil.
spice.
Just like, and then you would wind up with spice nuts.
Yeah, which is another great
is a
option.
I like that
Yeah.
idea.
Yeah.
For the rye.
And that brings to mind something else. If somebody's looking to incorporate more nuts into their diet, there are a lot of ways to get nuts that are coated in sugar or baked into a sweet pastry. And that's kind of, it sort of defeats the purpose, you know? If you can't rationalize eating a whole coffee cake because it's got some walnuts sprinkled on top.
Right.
You know, so be aware of things like that too.
You know, it's really cool, even at the hospital, so you guys, all of you do just an amazing job. But even, I noticed, like, I had a crab cake one day, and it had kind of an avocado wasabi, but there was some almonds there as well.
Oh, crunch.
Yeah,
So good.
And then the salad bar has all these assortments of nuts or cranberries and
Yep.
things, so you can make a really great salad. And you can really kind of sprinkle nuts on so many things. So it's, we just need to be thinking about that more. And I think people think about the calories in the nuts, and so they stay away from nuts potentially, and knowing that they have such good healthy fats in them that, you know, in moderation is actually helping you in other ways.
And
Yeah.
you know, those calories are coming from the healthy fats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're coming from a source that's going to be used differently once it's inside your body than if you're getting calories from something that was like refined flour or made with sugar. I mean,
Right.
they're different kinds of calories. Your body's going to incorporate them and use them in a different way too.
Exactly.
So there's science behind this. There's reason that you don't need to be as concerned about the calories that come from nuts as you do as the calories that come from a bag of Doritos or a cupcake or something like that too.
Right. Wow. This has been fun, it's easy, and it's healthy.
Wonderful.
So thank you so
Great.
much for being on our show again. I know there will be more to come. A little bit crazy at the beginning, but we settled down and we got something really good. So I'm hoping you all enjoyed our time together. There will be more opportunities to come. I'm Jill Braybone, the CEO of Northwestern Medical Center. Thank you for going nuts with us. Have a great day.